In this video, I'm going to be teaching you everything you need to know about the brand new genre-crushing, frame-like, action combat looter shooter, Duet Night Abyss. But first, if you're new here, I'm Shrike. Feel free to subscribe if you want even more Duet Night Abyss content. Now let's get into it. Codes for the launch are right here. Pow! First thing you'll be met with when you log into DNA is an MC choice. And it's important to note that this game is split into a dual narrative, which means you'll actually be following two protagonists at different points in their story. And the choice you make here at the start is only who you want to be for the first MC. You'll be able to make a choice for the second MC later on. In general, it's a story about prejudice between the human-like race and the demon-like one, where humans have largely subjugated the demon-born, and very few are able to crawl out of poverty and servitude, but all are treated viciously. The game isn't scared to tackle very serious, often very dark and contentious themes. A number of characters will be given away for free just by playing the game, and those characters are as follows: Berenica, Rebecca, Outsider, Daphne, Margie, Truffle, and Filbert, and just from participating in an in-game event, the brand new character Lizbel. So keep all that in mind when deciding who to go for first. You still have all of your characters though, no matter whose MC perspective you're following. And those characters are separated into different elements: Hydro, Pyro, Electro, Animo, Umbro, and Lumino. But there aren't roles or classes like in many games. Instead, each character has weapon specialties, which give them certain bonuses if they're using a weapon in which they specialize. This helps the character naturally fall into roles that they normally would, but also gives you the freedom to build outside of the norm. For instance, a healer that specializes in a bow to keep her at long distance and safe, you could slap a giant sword on her and hack and slash to your heart's content. Each character can hold one melee and one ranged weapon, and some even come preloaded with a consonance weapon, kind of like a specialty weapon, in addition to the normal ranged and melee. Each character has 3 skills, one of which is usually a passive, and then another that's basically an ultimate but isn't called that. The basic skill has no cooldown, and instead you expend a resource called Sanity to use it. It accumulates over time, but when you're out of it, you can't use that skill anymore. Also, when you activate your ultimate, it drains constantly, and the ultimate ends when the sanity runs out. But there are things called demon wedges that can increase the amount of sanity you have, among other things too. You can level up each character as well as their weapons, but there's also a gear system in the form of demon wedges. These wedges have a weight to them, and each slot has a tolerance that weight can't surpass. Leveling up these wedges increases the weight and can make a piece unequipable if you aren't careful. A special item called Track Module is the only way to raise the tolerance of a demon wedge slot. The wedges themselves come in a variety of types that do different things, and some have extreme and noticeable effects on your character's performance, such as increasing the rate of fire on a gun if you choose one, or making that gun have explosive rounds if you choose another. Or it can increase the radius of a skill's effect range. And the best part, there's no RNG. One piece of a certain set will have the exact same stats as another piece of that same set. You can even use that same one piece on every character you have, all simultaneously. No RNG, incredibly customizable, and you can use across all characters. This means you won't be spending months grinding gear to find that perfect piece, and then once you find it, you won't have to pray to RNGesus that it rolls the correct stats on upgrade, and then repeating that for every character you have. Demon wedges aren't the only things you can equip to your character though. There is a pet system. That's right, adorable little equipable monsters called Geniemon that you find out in the wild and feed and hope you get lucky and catch them. These Geniemon have different elements that correspond to the character's elements, and each has a unique support skill that you can use in battle. Okay, so you've upgraded the characters, the weapons, and equipped all the demon wedges you can, and caught the cutest little Geniemon you could find. You're ready for combat. Well, this game is a third-person shooter, with some world exploration, in which you'll be able to fight some enemies while exploring or doing the story. You'll do this with the 2 mouse buttons, one for melee and one for ranged. And when using ranged in the air, you'll hover. It's a very useful mechanic actually. You can also sprint, dash, slide, and helix leap, which will send you shooting and spinning in whatever direction you're facing. It can be used to reach high or far places, or it can be a precursor to a ground slam attack, performed by using a melee attack in the air. But the majority of combat will take place in the dungeons, called commissions. There are a variety of commissions in DNA, and the objectives will be announced at the start of each so you'll know what's expected of you. They can vary from quietly sneaking around and assassinating a target, racing to destroy an explosive device before it detonates, escorting a vehicle to its destination, or my favorite, unfettered, wholesale slaughter. Kill a set amount of enemies and you're done. You can bring 2 companions with you into these dungeons, but you need to place their tokens on the radial menu and equip them with 1 weapon each. They can't swap like we can, so they only get 1. And those weapons can have their own demon wedges. But once that's done, you have the ability to summon them in battle and they fight for you. Or you can set them up to be auto-summoned when you enter a commission. The reason the slaughter dungeons are my favorite is because most of the time, as long as there isn't a lot of moving around on the map, you can find a spot high up and out of the way and take a nap, or just AFK and go watch a movie or something. It may take longer by themselves, but they're surprisingly capable. Of course, some will be better at this than others, and I'll have some recommendations in a later section. During boss battles, you'll notice a stagger bar in addition to the health bar on the enemy, and it does exactly what you'd think it does. Deplete the bar, they stagger, and you can run up and do a special attack for a massive amount of damage. Make use of this mechanic to clear boss battles much quicker than you otherwise would have. Decisions matter. Sometimes when you have a dialogue option in DNA, your decisions will have an effect and give you points in morality or chaos or another value, depending on your choice. This can affect the way people treat you, can affect how easy or difficult some challenges will be, and can even prevent you from accepting certain quests until you get enough of a certain quality. And the points you get can even be used to purchase things in the associated shop. Shortly after you unlock the Sanctuary, you'll meet a Luna with a mustache, which will become your very own personal blacksmith, where you can go to craft all sorts of things, including very powerful weapons, assuming you have the blueprints. Typically, this is where I would place the reroll guide, but that's not necessary here in DNA, since there is no character gacha, and all the characters can be farmed for free, given enough time and assuming you reach the level requirements. Some characters will be given for free, I mentioned those at the beginning. Some will be available to farm right from the start of the game, and some will require you to get a bit further into the game in order to unlock, but it's not absurdly far. If you really push, you can reach it on day 1. So instead of a reroll guide, I'll just share some units that I've found to be very helpful in the early game progression, especially when placed as your AI companions. First is Rebecca, the Hydro AoE damage over time character. She throws down jellyfish that deal constant damage in a large radius. This is very helpful since you'll often encounter swarms of enemies rather than just a couple. And she's one of the units that will be given for free almost immediately, so you'll definitely have her. She'll make an incredible partner. Sybil is a crowd favorite, or maybe just my favorite. Her skill 1 is a large AoE blast, helpful for the aforementioned swarms of mobs, but her ultimate is pretty weak. Instead, I would suggest my other favorite, Hellfire, who has an AoE, a taunt to draw aggro away from you, and some self-sustain to keep her going. She's an excellent choice as one of your AI partners. She'll be available from the level 50 stage of her boss battle. Lizbel is a phenomenal character, but not so much as a partner. She can absolutely melt enemies, but plays better piloted by an actual human being. She will actually be available not from the boss stages like the others, but from a roguelike game mode called Mystic Maze. Completing the whole thing will give you 2 copies of her, plus some secret letters to farm even more. Yes, copies or dupes exist in the game, but since there isn't any PvP, and we can farm all the characters we want for free, even if the dupes are mega impactful, it's not a terrible inconvenience. My plan, at least for the start, is to main the free Berenica we get, with Rebecca as an AI partner, and then another one, until I can get Lizbel and Hellfire. Then my team will be Lizbel, with Hellfire and Rebecca partners. I'm sure a farming meta will evolve, including ideal demon wedges, to make the AI farm as efficiently as possible, and I may change this in the future, but this is my plan going in. It's always good to have a plan going in. And I suppose I should mention what I mean by available. Well, the character acquisition method is kind of complex, unless you've played Warframe, because it's pretty much exactly the same. You need to find or farm or earn secret letters to then go grind shards of a character. These secret letters can run out, and the amount of character shards that drop are RNG and can even be 0. Some may not even drop on a run. It may be a bit of back and forth. Getting secret letters, farming shards, getting more secret letters because you ran out before you could get enough, etc. before you actually have enough to get a character, which is 30 shards by the way. But you could also get lucky and get enough in only a couple runs. There will be 19 characters at launch, and a new character and weapon is planned to be added to the game every 28 days. But they won't be limited. They'll find their own permanent home in one of the dungeons, and it will be very clear which dungeon can give you secret letters for what characters. So there won't be any guesswork. On November 15th, we'll be getting Fina added to the game. There is co-op in Duet Night Abyss, and there is even a hub system right in the main city of Ice Lake where you'll be able to see other players running around. You can shut this feature off if you're feeling antisocial, or you can find a friend and jump into some commissions together. When you have a friend, you won't be able to summon 2 companions. The more friends you have, the less you can summon, and I believe a team of 4 real humans prevents any AI companions from being summoned at all. But at that point, you really shouldn't need any, right? I've never been a fan of multiplayer games, but I'm so excited for this game, I think I'll make an exception. Hopefully the co-op experience is done well. My experience only extends to Destiny Rising, which was a surprisingly good experience. No voice chat, no toxic players, and fun yet challenging stages. If DNA's co-op is anything like Destiny's, I think I'll have a good time. Pre-download is officially available right now. So go to the Duet Night Abyss website and download the game now. That way you don't waste any time on launch day. And if you're watching this video after launch day, what are you doing? Get in there! And with that being said, I'm gonna fly. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.